Alright guys, how you doing? My name is Nick. I want to talk to you about my new favorite hot mod Plexi rig and the HeadRush. And you know, I like Plexis. I like the idea of Plexis, the old school nature of it, but sometimes it's hard to get a tone that works for a guy like me who's a hard rock and metal dude. And so you know, with these kinds of digital units, sometimes you have to do a lot of work to get a tone that's tight enough and that isn't too bright and so on. However, this particular rig I'm going to share with you. You can check out the rig in the description below. I've got a link to it. And I'm just going to talk to you about this rig real quick. And by the way, that was a little Vinnie Moore reference in case you didn't know at the beginning there. He's got a tune called Check It Out. And I was just having some fun and did a little legato lick thingy at the end there. But I think it demonstrates you can kind of do, you know, more subtle stuff with, you know, more full-on rhythm and lead stuff too, and everything cuts through pretty clear. So you'll have to try it out on your own. Before we get going on the rig, just want to remind you, if you're a guitar player, and you must be, otherwise why would you be here, unless you just can't resist my engaging personality, is that I've got a free sweep picking guide down below called Sweep Picking Bootcamp. It's my free gift to you folks who really want to get your sweep picking chops in shape and learn more about arpeggio. So make sure and check that out as well. Alright, so let's talk about this rig. I'm just going to walk you through it. This won't take very long. It's a very simple rig. I started out with the 67 Plexi Glass Vary. That's the name of it. And I'll read you the settings. Of course, when you download the rig, you'll have it. But the 67 Plexiglass Vary, and I've got 50% volume, 80% high volume, 45 presence, 55 treble, 50 mid, and 40 bass. That's what I've got right now. And the signal path, before we get too far into this, is obviously the guitar makes a big difference. Double humbucker guitars, fairly high output. Not super high, but fairly high, so you got to take that into account where you might need to adjust the gain levels when you get this. If you're a Strat guy, you're going to have to add some gain for sure if you want this kind of a tone. If you have a humbucker style super Strat guitar like this, depending on how hot your pickups are, you might be fine, you might be right in the zone with this. But you know, these things always take a little bit of tweaking. The Plexis are pretty bright sounding on their own, so I wanted an IR that was a little darker. So for this one, I'm using the Lynchback with a 121-57 mic combination. That just seemed to really sound good to me and sort of balance out the trebly, high-endy Plexi thing you can get. It's a nice mix. So if you can find locate that IR, I highly recommend that, or any type of IR with a 121-57 combo. would probably work pretty good too. You just have to test it out. But that one, this one here, the Lynchback, works great. Okay, so that's the amp and the IR. Now I've got a gate, just a regular gate, the red gate, and I've got it on the default setting. And that's because it's a little noisy without it. If I crank this up, you can hear kind of a hum. That just gets rid of that. You could do it on the input as well, but I just like to have the gate there. So that's why that's there. Now, there's a graphic EQ, and what it's doing, this is pre-amp, so this is before the amp. The graphic EQ comes right after the gate. -2 dB on the low. Low mid's at 0, so nothing changed there. -1.1 on the mid, and then a boost of 6.0 on the high mid. Okay, now that's with just that we get this sound. Okay, not bad. We're getting there. This is a perfectly acceptable Plexi type tone for, you know, some low gain rock type stuff, mid to low gain. But it's a little flubby for hard rock and metal. And so what I've done is added the green JRCOD 0 drive, 49 tone, 97 on the level. So that's going to help give us a little bit more of a mid boost and tighten up the low end a bit. I've talked about that on some of my other HeadRush videos. Just the overdrives, it works the same way with real amps. If you have an amp that, like this Marshall in the background there, I'll set the gain on about 4, and the EQ, I'll boost the mids and stuff, but it's a little flubby until I engage the overdrive. The overdrive really tightens it up and adds a little bit of mid-range boost, as well as just a touch of gain. I usually keep the level of the drive on 0, so you're not getting a big jump in gain, but it does feel like there's more gain because you're getting more mids and it's tighter. Okay, so now with the overdrive engaged, we get more of this. And by the way, I'm just running through my FR HeadRush speaker there, so you're not getting the direct tone, you're getting the tone from that into the room, into my webcam here. Super simple. Obviously the sound is going to be a little different when it's direct, but this give you kind of a real world idea of what this sounds like right through a full range speaker like the HeadRush speaker. So this is pretty tight, and it has that Marshall sound to me. It's bright, but it's not overly bright. Everything cuts through. Cleans up pretty good, so. And then it gets really nice and fat and sustaining. Overall, really dig this. Sounds great in a mix. with your band or in your recordings as well. I've used it both ways. So that's it. That's the rig. Now I would probably add a little tape echo. Here's what that sounds like. Just to give it a little ambiance, and maybe a little reverb too. So we got the reverb on with the delay. Front pickup. Nice and fat and juicy sounding to me. Works really well. That's it. This is the whole rig right there. So I'll upload that for you guys to check it out. I can't include the IR. This is from Suhr, S-U-H-R. So check that out. Or go over to my buddy Griggs. Play Sonic DNA. He's got some great IRs over there. SonicDNA.com. And check out his stuff as well. All right, that's it. Make sure and grab that free sweep picking guide down below, and I'll see you next time. Rock on.